Hey everybody, how you doing? We made it through another week, and we're gonna have great guests, as you know. And I'm happy to report that it was a very good week for me. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good week for Mark. And let me throw Mark right in there right away. And here we go. There's the man of steel himself, my co-host, Mark Steele. How you doing, Mark?
Pretty awesome, Jimmy. How's it going? Okay, boy, you sound very excited. I'd like to hear what's going on.
Well, we got to get excited because
Yeah.
there's things that are happening in town, especially with us, because the guests that we got lined up are going to be second to none,
Yep.
and which I'm very happy about. Of course, we had a little bit of a downfall with what's going on with everything right now, back to phase one. And I know there's a lot of people that feel that they were, the tavern industry feels that they were hit hard. And, we're going to talk a lot about that next week. Okay. But whether how you feel or you feel yes or no, you're against it or what, we still have to follow the protocol. We still have to make sure that we all follow the proper hygienic practices, follow what's the lead right now. We can't sway away from that. We don't want to go backwards anymore. But we're going to touch on that all next week for sure, And I'm looking at some notes here, okay? I do want to mention one thing before we bring on our guest. One thing I want to make sure that everybody's aware of, there was a really good article today in the Las Vegas Review-Journal by Mr. Al Mancini, which was excellent. It actually was based on delivery drivers and no masks. And I just want to make sure everybody knows out there that Mark and I created a program just for that. So those of you who are looking for that, you can go on Mark's website, which is right here, which is on the bottom, which he definitely has the information on his website. It's the way we set it up, the programs that we develop. And one of them is for the delivery services. I just wanted to mention that. Right, Mark?
Yeah, it's 100%. This is something that Jimmy and I put together 2 or 3 months ago. Jimmy and I touch base a lot. We talk all the time, but we were talking about this, everything with the pandemic and delivery drivers, these third-party delivery drivers. Not only are they not required to have masks because there's different protocols, but they're also not required to have a sanitation Southern Nevada Health District health card. They're also not required to have any kind of alcohol awareness training too, or your TAM card. And they definitely don't have any, a lot of them don't have any kind of hospitality or brand development or they don't manage your system of your restaurant as well. So we've kind of combined a course that has all three, and it's a 90-minute course, and you get a certification to actually touch a little bit on everything. Going through the entire sanitation training can be a little bit overwhelming for people who are just delivering your food, but we've touched on all the hot spots, all the things that are really relevant now to COVID training. And I think it's a real nice program. It's going through the state to be certified as we speak. But, it was a nice tip of the iceberg that Al Mancini touched today. But just remember, all this third-party delivery, that these people are holding your food for longer than your restaurant is for most of the time. And they're holding your brand in your hand, and they're just dropping it off, and that's it. So we hope to kind of change that a little bit. Right, Jimmy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't know what they're doing with it. And everybody has to make a living. We understand that. But you as the end user don't really know what's going on. But if they follow our guidelines through the training, we're not going to, you're pretty much fool safe, really, because we've really gone very thorough with that. Okay. With that said, we have a guest today that has done so much during the pandemic. Not only has this, husband and wife company done things during the pandemic for our industry. Not only do they have quality food, the utmost distribution practices and sanitation practices known, they're really good human beings. And, it's great because we want to make sure that we can give you guys shows that have to do anything to do with the food and beverage industry. With that said, I want to bring our guest. There he is. Mr. There he is. I can't even say Mr. because he's a good guy. He's a great guy. Michael Stamm, Curd and Whey MGM Specialty Food. He's a great guy. Great establishment. I can't say enough good things about this man.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for inviting us. Hello, Mark. It's so good to see you both. Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, MGP Food and Curd and Whey has been, we've been very fortunate that we have a really good team. So thank you so much for coming.
Well, that's great, man. That's great. I know we go back a while. We go back a while. You are one of my clients, which is, there's no thing of that. I do the service for you, which is great. But not only you're on because of that, that's not the main reason. You're on because of what you've done during the pandemic. Mike, I really want to get into this with you. I want you to explain what you guys did, because you were on the news. I know you were on the news. What you did during the hard times. Explain Curd & Whey. Explain what you do with the MGP. This is your time to shine. Not like you don't have your own things going on, your own podcast. I know that. But definitely let everybody know what's going on with you.
Well, like I said, or like you said, MGP Specialty Food, Michael's Gourmet Pantry was started in 99 in November, and then we opened up the doors in 2000. So we just had our 20-year anniversary actually in February. Officially 20 anniversary, unofficially we're already almost 21 years now doing this. I left the kitchen in 99 and wanted to do something different, and distribution was obviously, I know the product, I know food cost. So it was a fairly easy transition for me getting into this, okay? And so when the pandemic hit, we opened up Curd & Whey now almost 4 years ago. And Curd & Whey is our retail shop. With MGP, we had so many chefs and sent their wives or their mom or their cousin, their sister, their brother to come over and pick up cheese and products. So 4 years ago, we decided to open up. We took an empty office and turned that into a deli / shop. So people that want to buy foie gras or want to buy the prosciutto, and I have 7 different types of prosciutto, Serrano, Iberico, everything's available. So all the goods that we deliver to the top restaurants in Las Vegas, we have here in the shop. We even use them in making sandwiches and salads and whatever, but you can also buy the cheeses and the charcuterie. And when the pandemic hit, we still had cheese coming in on a regular basis. I mean, all the way until almost a month ago, where we had to pre-order a lot of the cheeses that are coming in from France, from Spain, from Italy. And we had to go actually ahead. And so my suppliers don't get stuck with it. We still had it delivered in. And it was kind of difficult. But so when the pandemic hit, a lot of my former chefs, a lot of my former kitchen staff from the hotels and restaurants that I've known for 30 years are out of jobs or at home. So we put with, thanks to Brian, our computer guy, we put produce boxes together, we put vegetable boxes together, and we changed the whole concept around to have now a curbside delivery system in place. Brian worked tirelessly to get a website up and get different things, packages put together that we just literally threw together because, I mean, right before the shutdown, we had $15,000 worth of French cheeses come in. And these are all soft ripened bries, camemberts, épois, and so forth. Cotin. So we made cheese packages. Okay, we made hard cheese packages, we made soft cheese packages. And I'm really fortunate and blessed that I have the support of the people from Las Vegas, customers that used to buy cheese and charcuterie boards came in and supported us. We had a lot of people come in here and they were afraid to go to a grocery store. Okay, and we helped them out with product over here where they can call us, they can place the order, and the next morning they can pick up the order. And all they had to do was call the shop. We get the order together and bring it right out. So it was very convenient on that note. So I didn't have to go and lay anybody off because, I mean, we have now 13 employees, including myself. So I had to make sure that we continue. I mean, I got 7 on the distribution side, and I got another 6 in the shop. So they all said, and then I asked them, I gave them the option, listen, guys, you guys want to go or you guys want to stay? And they all said, no, we want to stay. We want to get through this together. And we want to help you guys. And yes, can't tell you how grateful I am for a good staff. No.
Wow, that's awesome. So all these different, just for my own curiosity and probably everyone that's out there too, is so all the cheeses that were coming in from all over the whole world, were you able to, so you said you had to bring in big orders. Is this something that, how's the supply and demand chain going right now, the food chain? Is it something that you can turn off and turn on? How long is the process to keep it going or stop it? Have you continued it? How's that working out?
No, we already started continuing it. We're bringing in, again, a lot of cheese, a lot of charcuterie, a lot of different items. And it's on a regular basis where we bring that in. So yes, the supply chain right now is very difficult because obviously with the shutdown, a lot of cheeses were not imported from France into the United States or from Italy. So there is some delays and there's still some major shortages. Which is a big issue. Everything from Brillat Savarin, Epoix, all the soft ripened cheeses, because a lot of the importers stopped bringing that in, okay, or reduced it drastically. So now, for example, Jambon de Paris is still not available and it only comes out of Canada. But Ontario just now started production again and opened up the Ontario, not even Montreal. They opened up Ontario, so my producers for the Jambon de Paris can start producing again. Okay, so we had to substitute with a lot of items. On a lot of items, it's still a struggle, but I have incredible chefs, incredible people, restaurant owners that understand that shortfall. Okay, but we can substitute, hey, listen, do this hard cheese rather than this soft cheese. Okay, because I mean, at one point we had almost 6,000 pounds of Comté. I mean, when you think we're going every 2 weeks through 1,200 pounds of Comté, and now we're just closed, what are we going to do? We can't call the supplier because otherwise that is already on the water. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to get a cheese, a pallet consolidated in France, put on a container, put on a boat, comes to New York or Jersey, and then from Jersey to Las Vegas. So it's a process. It really is a process. And I'm very fortunate that even my suppliers, they're trying really hard to get products in for us. And we did a lot of commitments. And again, I'm very fortunate that I work with all these suppliers. I work with 7 different importers, okay, East Coast, 4 different importers on the West Coast. And it's just a process to go ahead and bring product in. I mean, it's for us as a small company. I'm doing sales, I'm doing purchasing, I'm doing the inspections with you, Jimmy. Thank you so much for doing the inspections for us now for, 6 years?
Yep.
Okay, and so yes, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So all the restaurants that have opened up and all the casinos and everything, are they continuing the orders like normal, or how do you see the orders coming in now?
Well, you have to see. I mean, the casinos are working basically on 50%. So if the 50% is the new 100% norm, so you're getting now where before it was 20, 30, 40% of 100%. Right now, we're getting a lot of chefs or a lot of the restaurants, let's put that out first, had to reconfigure the menu. Okay, all the high-end gourmet items that we have, from expensive balsamic vinegars to foie gras to caviar, all those items were put on hold, and they're using now, in order to attract people and in order to make some money, they had to go to a more reasonable product. Now, because again, you're working 50% is the new norm. So now your sales you're only doing a 20% dining room. Okay, I mean, it's very difficult for a lot of the restaurants to make money. Now, because if you have a 50% cost and you're only making 20% money, how long can you hold that? We got the PPP money, but again, that was gone fairly quick. And
quick, very quick.
oh, it was gone like that. I mean, and there was a mistake because they didn't allow us or whatever. They screwed up on the bank. So there was no rent included. There was no utilities included. So, I mean, there's 75,000 that we didn't get.
Right.
Okay, so we have to. I'm sorry?
A lot of people don't know that there's another equation to the whole PPP thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then you're taking now a loan out, the PPP, where eventually they will forgive you a certain percentage. But in the meantime, you're signing on the dotted line that you personal guarantee that you're paying back the money. And again, you gave a personal guarantee. And you know how banks are. They're going to sell your house to go ahead and make sure they get their money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on top of it, you have to pay interest. Okay, yes, it's a very low interest rate, but still you're paying interest.
It's still a loan. It's still a loan.
Oh, it's a loan, exactly. I mean, we were slated this year to almost increase our business by 30 to 40%, looking at the trend. We were doing in 2 months what we're normally doing in 3 to 4 months. Okay, so this, in our 20th year, we were slated to do absolutely incredible. Okay, and yeah, it's a shame to see this being going down into this direction. I mean, we can talk about that all day long, and
yeah, for sure.
Politics.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, you got some wine behind you. I see that, and
Yes,
you got Curd Whey too that I want you to cover because it's a lot to cover. But you're it.
Curd Whey was a funny creation. I had a wonderful young lady walk in here. She moved from Portland to Las Vegas and Devon, and she came in one day, was looking for cheese and charcuterie. And she was working for one of the supermarkets right now, but wasn't quite happy. So I told her, I said, after sitting down when talking to her and seeing her passion in this business, I says, why don't you go ahead and come on board and set up the store for us? And she's like, oh my God, really? And then we hired more people. And now we have an incredible team between Maritza, Jamie, Janelle, Caroline. We even have a cheesemonger on board, full-time cheesemonger. And Caroline, she came here from Utah, from St. George, and moved here, and she came on board with us. Now she came highly recommended through another mutual friend. And so here we're growing in this small little family.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, congratulations very much on the success. I know you're from Germany, right, to begin with?
That's correct, yes.
Can you give us a little bit, let's get off some of the bad stuff and let's do
let's do the good stuff
let's talk about your 20 years of being open, how you got here to Las Vegas, how you made the transition from Germany to Las Vegas. Let's hear a little bit more about your story rather than a lot of the negative that we can focus on.
It was a crazy story. I had a position that wasn't my favorite. Okay, so in Germany, we have a magazine for international hotel and restaurant employees for jobs. Okay, so I looked through it and I found a small ad that said, looking for a German chef restaurant, Siegburg on Matter Avenue, Matter, for Los Angeles for the Olympics. So it's like, okay, no phone number, no address. So I went on the phone. I called the operator in Los Angeles. I asked for the phone number. I called this gentleman and said, so what are you looking for? He says, well, who are you? So I introduced myself. And needless to say, 3 weeks later, I was already on the airplane coming into the U.S. Okay, I was chef during the Olympics in Los Angeles. We fed a lot of the German athletes, the rowers, the equestrians, because if they were supposed to. They were being housed at USC, but they didn't want to eat up there. So they came down to the restaurant. We had put a tent on the side of the restaurant in the parking lot. And we're feeding 150 to 190 athletes and coaches for almost 3.5, 4 weeks. So I was only supposed to be here for a total of maybe 10 weeks. And one thing led to another. I mean, come on, 1984, Los Angeles was just absolutely spectacular. Okay, the beaches were great. The people were fantastic. There was just so much happiness in those years, okay, that I just fell in love with it and I just stayed. So I never went back. And that's been now, like I said, 84, so 36 years.
Wow. So now we got from Germany to Los Angeles, and how to Las Vegas?
Well, over a couple different places. A friend of mine recommended me to a restaurant in Malibu, up in Malibu Canyon. I was chef over there, opening chef. But then the company, the mother company, it was their first gourmet restaurant. They didn't want to deal with immigration and all that. And I was still without a green card. I mean, I had my social security card, but it said on there for banking only. But I started working on that social security card, and nobody ever questioned me about it. So I did the restaurant. I opened the restaurant, and the day after opening, the company comes in and says, sorry, but we're not doing with the immigration papers. So I went up to Mammoth Lakes, was chef of a Swiss restaurant called the Matterhorn back then. And so I was there for about 1.5 years. The owner had 2 restaurants, Hans Fügi. He owned the Matterhorn in Mammoth Lakes, which was inside the Alpenhof Lodge. Great people, absolutely phenomenal people. And then he also owned the Mid Mountain in Park City. So in 85, then in spring of 85, he asked me if I can help him out up there in Park City. So we catered the World Cup race up there early spring. And then I came back to Mammoth Lakes, was there for about another year. And then finally I met somebody here in Las Vegas, and Hans Strauss, food and beverage director of the old Dunes. And he says, man, you should come to Vegas, okay? Never telling me all the paperwork that's involved. So anyway, I visited him a couple of times. I met a young lady, and sure enough, I've been in Vegas now since end of May, beginning of June of 86.
Wow.
Okay, so it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, my first hotel was the old, after I got my paperwork, was the old Desert Inn, where I got to work with Bill Yeager, Willie DeZuba as executive chef. And they brought me in as a chef de terrain, so I can go around throughout the whole property and work the different menus. That was absolutely an incredible job. Then Bill Yeager went over to the Mirage. I got to work with him at the Mirage over there with Ken Weicker and Gustav Mahler. And, I've been very fortunate that I've met a lot of incredible people throughout my years, and I'm very thankful to have learned so much from all these chefs. Okay, I mean, Mirage back then was, the first casino that featured clearly all the high-end people. Okay, and it was fantastic. It was Kokomo's and Moongate. All these incredible restaurants. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And then I moved on. Yeah, then I moved from the Mirage to open up the Monte Carlo again with Willie DeZuba. And from there, I moved then to Treasure Island with Ken Weicker and Gustav Mahler. And sure enough, and then, like I said, I started this as a hobby per se, because a lot of customers came in and asked me, Mike, where can I get this incredible balsamic vinegar, or how did you make this dressing? So I told them, I don't have secrets. Okay. For me, food needs to be shared. The knowledge needs to be shared. And it's always been very important to me that my customers come in and say, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" Enjoy their meal. Okay. So I changed a lot of things around. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's about it. So
Still having fun.
Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. You got to. Okay, life is too short.
If you don't have fun, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. What about the wine behind you?
The wine behind us, we were again, we applied for a wine license, but because the shop is only roughly 700 square feet, it was kind of difficult to get it. So thanks to a gentleman that helped us, my attorney, and another gentleman. So yes, he helped us getting this through, so we can serve alcohol, and now we can even go ahead and put packages together. We can sell wine, we can sell beer. We have cheese and charcuterie packages, and here's, for example, just charcuterie platter that we're doing. This is a melon, mozzarella, and prosciutto platter. But these are little sweet drops right in between. Here's a pearl mozzarella. You got all the prosciutto. You got the cantaloupe. So yes, it's a nice little platter that we put together, just so you guys can see it, what we're doing here. And that's just one. Follow us on Instagram with Whey, and then you can see how special we treat every customer. Every cheese board is made for the customer specifically. We don't just make one cheese board, one size fits all. Yeah. Depending on your budget, okay, we ask you, are there any allergies? Okay, or what cheeses you like, what cheeses you don't like. And then we go ahead and put these cheese and charcuterie boards together.
Wow.
Okay, and every single one of them is individually and created. The smallest one we do, of course, is for 1 or 2 people. And then the largest one we did was for like 4,000 over at the Vegas Golden Knights fundraiser. Okay,
Wow.
that was our largest board. So that was kind of fun to do.
Yeah, awesome.
Now the public could walk right in to Whey, correct?
Public can walk right in right now. Yes, please wear a face mask, okay, because we want to follow the proper procedures, okay, and make sure that you feel safe. So all our employees are wearing face masks. The entire process was sanitized. We're doing the whole process, thanks to you, Jimmy, and going over it with us. And I mean, that's why I enjoy working with you, okay, because you are such an education for me every time you walk in and you do your inspections. So we want to make sure that the customers are safe, not only for the deli, but also for the distribution part. So we brought Jimmy on board 5-6 years ago, and to do independent, like a third audit inspection for us. Okay, and it's been. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for keeping us right line, and reminding us of where we're short and saying, "Hey, Mike, you got to fix this or you got to fix that." So we really appreciate having JBC Food Safety on board. Okay, it makes a big difference.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. But a lot of it comes from you too, because I can give you the tools, but if you don't take the tools and run with it, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, man, you got me great, but no, you know what you're doing. You're dedicated from the first time I met you, from all the way when I walk in there. I mean, there's always a question. There's always, because you're into it. You know what I mean? It's not like a fly by night. Oh, the health department's here. Let's start looking for expired product. No, you're not that type of operation at all.
It's for me, it's important that you get a good quality cheese. Even now, I mean. Oh my God, we had a lot of cheese that expired, okay, and we had to get rid of it. We offered some of the cheeses that were still in good shape, we can sell, or we offered it as a cut portion. We used some of it on cheese and charcuterie boards, but a lot of it we also had to toss because there was just no customers. Okay, but you can only have so much. Okay, and based on customers that are coming in. So, but yes, it's a hardship. Okay, but I don't want to serve anything bad to my customers. Okay, because I want them to come back. And that's the important part for me, that I rather take a loss and I rather donate a bunch of cheese to one of the food shelters or Three Square, and finally have to toss it away. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's one thing that I always say in the school, and Jim and I always talk about that's the best sell that you can make for any guest is to actually have the guest come back a second time or third time and just keep the repeat business coming. And that's why you've been in business for over 20 years.
yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's, I mean, we right now, even with the health cards, I mean, it's really hard to get one, period, or the health department is not open yet. So we actually hired Chef Keith Norman based on Jimmy's recommendation to bring him in to do a staff training for everybody to get safe serve manager food service certified.
Very smart.
Okay, so it's again, take the next step, be proactive, then get nailed. Okay, I mean, we are USDA, and I didn't have to USDA register because we don't cut meat over here, or we only slice meat in the deli, but only for the retail customers. We don't slice meat for the restaurants. We can get you prepackaged meats and pre-sliced meats, prepackaged with USDA inspections on it, but I wouldn't cross over on that. It's just too fine of a line, and the fines are too steep. I mean, I'm in business to go ahead and stay in business, not to go ahead and get slapped with a fine of $10,000 and possibly go to jail for a year.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
No,
Mike,
it's not. So,
let me ask you a question. How many different individual products do you have in your store altogether?
all together, and we just did inventory. Right now we have a rolling count of about in stock 1,200 items, almost 1,300 items. Okay, and
So-
I mean 50% of that is actually cheese,
Sure.
and the rest of it is dry goods, olive oils, vinegars. We also have one of the largest selections of foie gras. I've been working now. I had the pleasure of working with Hudson Valley now for 19 years out of my 20. I made one time very briefly a switch to a Canadian product that I wasn't happy with, and moved right back to Hudson Valley. Okay, I mean, Hudson Valley does an incredible job. We were asked, because of our relationship with Hudson Valley, we were also asked to bring in Rouget foie gras, Marquis caviar. Marquis approached us, so we brought in Marquis caviar. So if you want Kaluga, Osetra, Sevruga, Golden Osetra, we have it in stock. And it does make a difference on being able to offer the customers quality products.
That's awesome. So actually, I have a follow-up question. And you gave us a little touch of story on the Hudson Valley, but out of all those 1,200 items that you have, can you give us, like, and these relationships come over the course of time, right? You just don't snap your finger and the stuff comes in. It's your research, it's your relationships, it's your going out. Because I came into your store one time and I caught you right before you were about ready to go to Los Angeles. And you're like, I got to go get this stuff because otherwise it's going to go bad. It's sitting on a truck. So you took ownership. You have a relationship with the stuff. So give us just one random product that you really take to heart. It's like your baby. It's something you have a good story about. The way you found it is, you had as a child. I don't know.
Yeah, every product that I bring in, I can tell you stories about it. I mean, take Four Fat Fowl, which is a triple cream brie. Shalina and Willie from St. Stephen's Four Fat Fowl cheese making. I've been working with Shalina she was my sales rep in 2003 when she was still working for Old Chatham, and Willie was the cheese maker. Willie moved away to go and become cheese maker at Coach. And by the way, this is the cheese right here, Four Fat Fowl, St. Stephen's. It's a domestic made triple cream brie that is just, if you know Brillat Savarin, you need to know the triple cream from St. Stephen's.
Look at
Okay,
that.
because it's just absolutely spectacular. Okay, so anyway, so this young couple, and I've been seeing them at this food show or this cheese conference with this company, with that company. So finally, they went out on a limb 6 years ago and started making cheese. They finally got married like 8 or 9 years ago. And then it's okay, they were working as cheesemaker and she was a sales rep. And then they finally says, okay, good, let's make cheese. Okay, so St. Stephen is right there by the Massachusetts border, in the middle of nowhere. They converted this old Taco Bell pizza place into a cheese making facility. Okay, and started growing out of that. Now the schoolhouse was empty, and they actually bought the schoolhouse, and they have the make facility for the cheeses, aging rooms, and everything in the back of the schoolhouse, and the gym with the stage they left alone, and they're using that as a community center to give back for what they received. My like I said, I'm very blessed that I get to work with them. Okay, here's another one, Cowgirl Creamery, Peggy and Sue. Okay, oh my God, 16 years. I pursued Peggy and Sue to let us do the distribution for Cowgirl Creamery in Las Vegas. Okay, for the Mount Tom, the Pierce Point, the Red Hawk. I mean, Mount Tom or Cowgirl Creamery is doing such an incredible job with their cheeses up in California. So I always was in love with their cheeses. And every time I go up there to San Francisco, I go right down to the ferry building, get myself a small little demi baguette, get some cheese, some grapes, a bottle of wine, and my wife and I, we go right outside and enjoy that right by the pier. Okay, so it's a lot of fun doing that.
Hey, Mike, you just mentioned the backbone of your company, your wife.
Absolutely.
There you go. You can't forget the wife.
No, absolutely not. The wife is incredible. She keeps me in line, and she makes sure she has the thumb on top, so I don't go too crazy. But Kathy has been a blessing for me, and man, it's been the best 10 years ever being with Kathy, or actually 9 years. Excuse me, 9 years. I know it feels like it's when it's longer. But yeah, we got married 7 years ago. We just had our 7th anniversary, and it's been incredible that she is allowing me and to do these shenanigans, what I call them. A cheese shop. Why would you want to open up a cheese shop? You have a distribution business. Why do you need more? Why do you need a cheese shop? So when I explained to her, why do we need a cheese shop? She was like, okay, yep, I can see that. Brian and I, we always laugh when we come up with crazy ideas. And Brian is making incredible ice cream. So we're going to start that soon once we have all the agricultural inspection done with that. So we make ice cream right here under his company name. And so it's really a fun team that we have. Okay,
well, look at that.
Everybody
You're local. You're
Pardon?
local. No
Yep.
one has to go far away to get the product that you're offering. Okay.
Correct.
Number one. Number two, I want you to promote it. Give me the website. Tell the people your hours of operation on both of the places, how they can get in touch with you, because that's important.
Well, it's the website obviously for MGP Specialty Food is www.mgpfood.com, and Brian worked months now to get the website up the way we want it. So pretty soon you can even do online ordering right on the website. And then for Cured and Whey, just go to www.curedandwhey.com, and you see what we do over here. Okay, and like I said, the best thing about it is come on in, get a tour. I have nothing to hide. I take people in the back. Like I said earlier, I'm USDA certified, FDA certified, agricultural sanctioned. I'm even doing, of course, Clark County Health Department, and I have you, Jimmy, to constantly come in and make sure we keep and we're doing the right thing. I mean, we started cutting cheeses. My goal was to give the customer great fresh cheeses. So we're bringing in the large wheels of Comté, we're bringing in the Beaufort, we're bringing in 220-pound wheels of Emmental, or 280-pound wheels of Borngas from Holland, and cutting them up right here in our kitchen in the cheese shop, and following the proper procedures, and then selling them through the shop, but also to our customers. I mean, it's a lot of fun doing this. Okay, and I don't go to work. Okay, but don't tell that anybody because I love what I do. So it's crazy. I work harder than I was in the kitchen because we got to be here early, 5 days, 6 days. Brian and I, we just had placed. Tell you how crazy this is. We just had placed an order with one of our suppliers, and the truck broke down. So I went on the horn. I called, and we needed this product for one of the hotels to keep them supplied with this particular item. So I called my friend in Los Angeles, a competitor of mine, and I always try, even if they're a competitor, to be on a friendly face with them. I mean, even over here in Las Vegas, we're working with Desert Meats, we're working with Out West, we're working with all these different companies because it's a small, tight-knit community. Okay, so we have to help each other. And so Brian and I, we left at 1 o'clock in the morning, drove down to Los Angeles, made 2 stops, came back, and we made delivery by 11 o'clock in the morning to the customer on a Friday. Yeah. So it was crazy, but we got it done. And this is the big thing. I mean, I even drove to, oh my God, for Bouchon one time. My trucking company couldn't pick up bacon for Bouchon, so I drove all the way up to San Francisco, picked up bacon. That was a 22-hour round trip, and I came right back, and we had the bacon for them for the weekend. So when you're a small business owner, you do what is necessary to keep the customers supplied because that is your lifeline: service, quality, consistency, and pricing.
And you know, last week we had, don't mean to interrupt you because it's going into exactly what you're saying. Last week we had Chef Chris Conlon on. Yeah. And he mentioned that you're going to be part of that food hall. So yeah, that's going to be great.
Absolutely. Again, that's another one of my shenanigans. But Chris approached me and asked me if I wanted to be part with the cheese and charcuterie. And Chris and I talked, and I told him my idea of what I envision to do. And he was like, okay, this is great. Oh my God, this is fantastic. So yes, and again, this is another thing. Throughout these years, I mean, being Las Vegas resident for 34 years and seeing all these young chefs, and I'm talking about now Brian Howard, I'm talking about Justin Hall, I'm talking about so many. I mean, it's just Daniel Oteveros. Okay, you meet them in one restaurant, and then you see them over here, and they're growing. Okay, Antonio Nunez at the stove. I mean, all these people, they work their way up, and now they have their own restaurant. Okay, and I cannot tell you how much pleasure this gives me that these people are going out. Vegas now, I would call the food destination, definitely a food destination in the world. Definitely in America, because I mean, San Francisco, great restaurants, but it's kind of a disaster walking around there. Los Angeles had fantastic restaurants, but I think it lost its luster a little bit. So Las Vegas, seeing how Las Vegas evolved, a lot of these chefs, I mean, there's one kid in particular. The first time I met him was in fall of '99. Okay. And he was a dishwasher, barely spoke English. Okay. And now he's the corporate chef for one of the famous chefs, the TV chefs. Okay. So that is, for me, what's better than that? And you see them grow throughout the time. Okay. Look at Steve Blondino. Okay. Look at Lalo. I mean, it's the same with Ron from the Butcher Block. Okay. Please support all your local restaurants. Okay. There is such great restaurants. Sheridan over at Flock and Fowl, Every Grain, incredible people. Okay, and they put their heart, their soul in it to open up these places. Kaivu with Modeo and a district. Okay, Dan Cromer at Other Mama. I mean, what these chefs put out there is just partage. Okay, I mean, Chef Yuri at Partage. It is such incredible to see off-strip restaurants. And I'm not want to take away from the strip restaurants, because there's beautiful restaurants. Bouchon, Rebouchon, Atelier, Delmonico's, okay, Emerald's Fish House. I mean, there's just absolutely incredible food out there. Look at Wes over at Table 34. He's been here one of the longest restaurants. I've been following him, my God, 20 years that he's a customer of mine. It started out as Sage, and then changed, of course, to Table 34 a few years later. And he's been doing consistency, same good food. So yeah, Wes and Lori are really hardworking people. And look at Hardway 8 over in Henderson. I mean, even Henderson is now coming in the water district that are just doing incredible food, restaurants, and a scene that they want to involve and get people involved with it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yes, I really enjoy seeing these kids grow. And I call them kids because I got 20 years on them. Now I'm turning 60 in August, and trust me, the time just flew by for me being here in this great country that gave me the opportunity to start MGP Specialty Food with $5,000 and a couple of credit cards. I mean, it's been hard, but I mean, it's a lot of fun.
That is great. Couple of comments came through for you. First of all, your friend Oliver Zardoni said hello.
Thank you.
He says hello to you. Everybody, and Mr. Eric Gladstone, he actually said he loves all our guys, Mark. So he gave us on that. Jennifer English, she says, great, thank you for what we're doing for the industry. We've got people saying that you're very innovative. It's just great. It's just great comments for you, boss. I want everything to be perfect. I want everything to be right. We're going through a hard time now, but people like you and the way you are, you're so proactive. This is what makes it happen. This is what our industry is all about. This is why I love
it comes down to the quality.
And that's why I like dealing with people like you and your wife. I mean, it's just excellent. You got an excellent company. You've got an excellent store. I want the public definitely to come out and see you. I know you do well, but I want everyone to get knowledge of it. That's why Mark and I try to put many people together as much as we can for the podcast so they can get their stories out and explain, hey, look, this is what we're doing now, is what we did before. But it's so important because, your message is very strong, sir. And, you're a great guy, And
I'm like I said, Jimmy, I'm just really fortunate. I mean, just to tell you what I like to do is I had a couple of chefs complain about Parmesan, that they couldn't make an Alfredo sauce with that Parmesan because it would constantly break. So I sent it out to get analyzed, okay, and it came back that it had a lot of fillers in it, okay, it had anti-caking, it had anti-molding in it. So I talked to the chefs, I said, so if I go ahead and start grading fresh Parmesan, I called the agricultural. I says, what do we have to do? I talked to Clark County Health Department, SNHD, and says, I want to make sure I follow the guidelines. So I ordered a $6,000 grater, cheese grater. We started aging Grana all the way up to 24 months. So it's drier, it has more crystals in it, it has more flavor. And now we're grading Parmesan 2 to 3 times a week. We're grading Pecorino for some of the restaurants. But the chef gets a fresh product. It has a 9-day shelf life, okay, or I should say 9 to 12. Wintertime it's 12, summertime it's 9, and it's freshly graded, okay. I have one gentleman, he comes in at 5 o'clock in the morning, cuts the cheese the night before, and then he just starts grading for the next 3 hours, okay. But you're getting this light, fluffy Parmesan Grana that is absolutely incredible, okay. It doesn't have cellulose in there. It doesn't have mold inhibitors in there. It is fresh. It tastes, it has incredible taste. So yes, James over at Esther's, he's using it too. So I mean, again, I'm very fortunate that I get to meet these chefs, okay, and the sous chefs and the cooks remember Michael. I'm a simple guy, okay. I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Oh, so, I love that term.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at me: cheese, wine, sleep, and repeat. Okay, so when you do something like this, enjoy it to the fullest, put your heart and soul in it, treat people the way you want to be treated. And I mean, even the dishwasher, okay, exactly. We're all human beings, okay. It doesn't matter what color, nationality, okay. It's about us in the community staying and helping each other, okay. Absolutely. I think these cooks, yeah, I get phone calls all the time. Hey, Mike, remember me? I was a cook over at Orioles, and now I'm opening up this restaurant. Holy smokes. Yeah. And seeing that, okay, word of mouth is the best advertisement. Okay, I think James Trees I first met when he was at, Andres up on top of the Palms. Okay, Brian Howard, Comaka, and Bouchard. I mean, it's amazing how this all comes together.
It's remarkable. And you know, it's just, God, it's just so 100% right on, because I feel the same way. I know Mark feels the same way as well with that. Yeah. Mark, it's that time, man, for your question. Unless you have other questions, Mark.
No. I know that we got a certain timeline that we want to fit, and we could talk to you for a long time, Michael. And you know, I'd love to be able to respond to everything you just said, but Jimmy just hit the nail on the head. That, you know, I totally agree with everything you said. It's so great, and that's what kind of hurts with everything going on right now, is that to see all these people that we know, that are friends, that we've seen grown up, that we've grown up with, are all hurting as well. So I mean, that's just kind of little disheartening, but you know, we just keep on moving forward and we'll be good. So Michael, you alluded to several times that you've been in Las Vegas for a long time, 35 years. You almost got me beat, but that's definitely a long tenure. But I want to hear a story, a Las Vegas story, that if you didn't live here, or if you do live here, that's something that might relate to you that may not happen anywhere else. And I know you were in Malibu and Los Angeles, but give us a Las Vegas story, maybe something personal, professional. You won a bunch of money gambling sometime, just something that, you know, try to keep it clean for the most part, but Las Vegas story to finish it up.
Holy smokes, a Las Vegas story. There was a time actually at the old Desert Inn. Mm-hmm. And you know where the pyramid was in the back of the Desert Inn?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember Desert Inn, yes.
3 gentlemen coming every Christmas, the week before Christmas, and they were putting on a poker game. And we would provide them with food up there. And we would have, literally, they would have a poker game and gambling going on 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it was. And so I was up there and cooking for them, carving for them. And I was supposed to be only up there for 4 or 5 hours. And then the next chef was supposed to come in and take over for the next shift. And of course, he got sick, and I just stayed. I just continued. So in the meantime, Mike Bonfiglio comes up and says, "Hey, Mike, what's going on?" I said, I told him what we're doing, what's happening, and how the poker game was doing. He says, "Just make sure you take care of my customers." Okay. I says, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We got that." So sure enough, the next morning, the graveyard guy didn't show up, and then the morning cook didn't show up. So it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. My Bonfiglio is walking back up through the pyramid, and he comes in. He says, "You're back again?" I says, "Sir, I never left." He says, "You what?" I says, "Well, the graveyard cook didn't show up, and then the morning chef didn't show up because they're short over in the main kitchen. And I'm still fine. Don't worry about it." He says, "Are you kidding me?" I says, "Nope." He says, "Okay, Michael, yes, you are taking care of our customers." So I didn't think anything more about it because I don't expect anything. Okay. So then I was called into the chef's office, and Mike Bonfiglio there, Willie DeZuba there, Bill Yeager. And he says, "Mike, you went above and beyond. You stayed, you kept the customer fed. You know what? Here's a nice weekend trip for you to San Diego." Okay. And so they paid for me to stay down in San Diego at the Bahia Village or whatever it's called now. Okay. I mean, for 2 days. Back then, I mean, that was, oh my God, that was incredible. So, yes, very fortunate to go ahead and be able to do this.
Nice.
That's great. That's great. Well, Mike, I know on behalf of Mark, we thank you so much for coming, man. It was a fantastic show with you. I mean, I can't say it enough. Thank you so much. I want everyone to go to Curd and Whey now. Call MGP. Talk to Mike. He'll take you on a tour of the facility.
Absolutely.
You know,
Thank you so much, guys.
You're great.
Thank you, Mike.
Jimmy, I appreciate you. I appreciate your service. Mark, the same. You know how I feel about you guys. Thank you so much for helping us stay proper and stay safe.
All right, buddy. You have a
Helping our
good one.
customers. Do what?
I said, you have a good one, boss. I'm going to see you soon.
You too. Cheers to you, okay?
All right, buddy. Here you go.
Bye, Mark. Thank you so much for having me up on the show with you guys.
Thanks, Mike. See you soon.
See you soon. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, Mark. It's getting better and better, pal.
Yeah, that was good. Some good stories. You don't have to ask me something like that.
Oh, yeah. Next week, we're going to do a little bit more with taverns. I don't want to say who's coming yet, but there's been a lot going on, but it's going to be all good. It's all good, positive, good stories and all, but we're going to go towards the tavern world a little bit. I don't see anything changing with that, so we're going to have fun with that next week. And anything going on for you this week?
Just kind of business as normal. Still just trying to navigate. Look like we're going to start some classes real soon over here, and work through some social distancing. But again, it's every week seems to change, and this week was a drastic change. So who knows what next week's going to bring.
Yeah, and there's Mark's info at the bottom scrolling for you guys that, go check his website out because a lot of good things going on. We're doing the things together as well. Mark does a lot of good stuff going on with his stuff. Here comes something with me on the bottom there for you guys. You know how to get a hold of us. We really appreciate everybody watching. We really appreciate it. We're going to keep going on with the guests, and we're going to make sure that we keep it up because we enjoy this. And we really feel great about the food and beverage industry, and we're going to keep going strong. Mark, you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon, pal.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.